So I wanted to work on Atlas coming up to me while I'm on the panel and then kind of getting him used to just seeing me above him. And I like that he's coming up next to me. He seems pretty interested. He doesn't look super worried about coming up next to me. So we've only done this a little bit, and that was a while ago, pretty quickly after I had gotten them. So that looks nice. I like that he's really moving his hips over. He kind of struggles with that with the side passing to the fence. He'll kind of want to leave his hips to the inside. So I do like this. And it's probably not the best angle ever because just from where the angle is on the camera, but he is like actually moving them over, so that looks good. And in the beginning, I'm just gonna keep my body near his head. I'm not gonna worry so much about getting toward the saddle area. Like obviously that's where I want to be, but I want to get him used to being next to the fence. So he's a little bit tense. Um, his head and neck is up. He's not completely relaxed with it. You can see like his ears moving a lot while I'm touching him and petting on him. So I'm just gonna reinforce him for standing still while I pet on him and just kind of make this a little bit more of a relaxed place. I'm not gonna worry about getting anything done. Just kind of getting him used to seeing me here. And then the panel does make noise, so you can hear it rattle and move and shake while I'm moving around on it. So that's another part of this is just getting him used to that as well. So there's a couple different things going on because he's got to be close to me. So he might be a little claustrophobic because he's up next to that panel. And then he's got to have me above him and then hear all the noises and stuff that go along with it. So just lots of petting and reinforcing. Um, so he got a little bit worried when I came down there, so I probably should have broken that down to where I'm just kind of standing up, reinforce that, and then swing my leg over, reinforce that, and then jump down kind of separately so you can see him backing up. And then he's kind of offering like the side pass, which is nice. So he's got a little bit of fear in there though. So he's trying, but he is afraid because he did want to back up. And then he came forward again because he knows that that's what he's supposed to do. That doesn't take away the fact that he's still afraid. So we're just going to work on just that whole lesson in general, just breaking it down a bit more. So again, as I climb up, I definitely could have broken that down to where like I take one step up, I click and feed. Two steps up, click and feed. Because you can see his head go up when I go up, and obviously he's looking at me, but I would like him to just be like, oh yeah, she's up there, okay. And he kind of keeps his head and neck level. That's what I'm looking for pretty much all the time. That's not what's going to happen all the time, especially when I haven't really worked on this behavior with him. This is going to be normal, but my goal is for that, is for him to just have his head and neck level, climb up on stuff, and it's not a big deal because that's going to be a good indicator of where he's going to be mentally prepared for riding. So that's why it's so important. I'm just going to move this ground pole. So I do want to move things around and get some obstacles set up and not just be like okay he sees me walk sometimes but I want to be like sometimes I'm dragging an obstacle, sometimes I'm carrying something, sometimes I'm moving the cart, so he kind of spooked away from it a little bit. So he just has to get used to me doing different things and he seeing different things, just kind of exposing him to stuff, but in a positive way. He's very curious, as you can see here. I'm trying to put that pole away from him. That's why I didn't put it out exactly parallel. I didn't want it to feel like it was coming toward him and chasing him, but he came up to it on his own. I'm going to reinforce him for that. I do like that he's being curious. He's not necessarily a super curious horse. He's rather like, oh my gosh, that's scary. No, thank you. But through the training, he's definitely become more curious. So Castor's just naturally curious, and that's why he's just easier to train in general. So I have to kind of foster that with Atlas, and I have to reinforce him a lot. I want to make sure that I'm not on the opposite side of him in the pole in case he were to spook away from it. So I'm trying to just have him back up. And I did reinforce him for going to the pole, so he wants to go toward it, but I just don't want to be in the way if he were to get scared and jump away. So I want to be between the pole and him. And then I'm going to reinforce him for just kind of investigating it, touching the pole. All of that looks very good. So I'm going to grab my target, and I think it was just a better idea for me to do this in protected contact. I do like how, again, how curious he is. I like that he's kind of offering the side pass toward. That looks really nice. And I'm just going to ask him to go forward toward the pole. So he's a little bit finicky about his feet too, specifically the hind feet. That's why we've been working on picking those up really slowly in stages. So this will be a good lesson for him to just, pick up his feet, hear something like touch it, and like it'll move a little bit and just kind of get used to it. So I'm just reinforcing him for showing interest in the pole. Unfortunately, like it's not the best quality video, obviously the round pen's in the way, but you get the idea. You'll see later on with a lot of my other videos, I use the Pivo in my phone and you can see a lot better, but you just kind of have to bear with me through the videos that I have with my GoPro. So I'm just gonna kind of get him a walking start here and see if he can kind of come up over the pole a little bit. And he's trying. So that was nice. I think he kind of went with one front foot, maybe. So just want to reinforce him for being near the pole. Ask him to go forward. Very nice. And in the beginning, he might just go right over it and he might not touch it. And I do want to reinforce that, but I got to be aware that his reaction to it might be very different once he actually touches it and it makes sounds and it moves. So I probably could have set myself up and him for success by using a different pole. I grabbed this one because it's lighter. It's a PVC pole, but it also rolls. So I believe yeah, because I don't even have it through the little like there's those little stands kind of that the panels are set on. I could have even put it through there and like slid it through there so that it didn't move quite as much. That would have been helpful, or just using my wooden like bigger heavy wooden poles so that um it's not going to move. So it's still going to make a little bit of noise, but it's not going to move so that there's not two scary things happening at once. So that was on me. I should have used a wooden pole instead. I think he did go over a couple of wooden poles in the arena, but I don't think that was quite enough for him to kind of learn too much about them. Specifically for Atlas, like Castor probably go over a couple poles and he'd be good. I think Atlas needs a little bit more repetition and a little bit more confidence with that stuff. So I could have set him up a little bit better, but I'm just gonna ask him to follow me over this, and that looks pretty good. And I don't know if he's actually hitting it or not. He might be actually hitting it. When I voice these over, I have to turn the sound off. So I think he does get scared when the sound happens. So I think he's just being careful. I do like that they are careful. Both my Mustangs are, and they really like lift their feet over that. That's really nice because my quarter horse is a different story. She like cannot pick up her feet for anything, and I have to like really train that behavior, and it's annoying to do, when it can be so simple. So I do like that that's built in with them. So this looks nice. He's willingly going over it, following me back and forth. I do like that he can stop here and it's behind him. That first time that I did this, he wanted to kind of swing his hindquarters away because it's a little bit scary having that directly behind him. But this is a good first introduction to it with using protective contact and then just rewarding him the whole time. That looks like a nice turn and then back over the pole. So that was really nice. Definitely could have improved it in some ways, but overall pretty good.